Thank you. On to our public comment period. I would ask that you try to keep your comments brief to 2 minutes max. Public comment period is for 15 minutes total. Please be respectful to the speakers while they are addressing the council, and please address the council as a whole. Anyone who wishes to address the council upon any issue may now come forward, state your name, address, and provide your comments. I do want to note that we do have a bell at 2-minute mark, and it will ring, and at 15, sounds like that. And at 15 minutes, we will close the public comment period. So please address the microphone with your name and your address if you would like to speak.
Can you hear me? Yep. Okay, good. My name is Patty Morrison, and I am a City of Saratoga Springs resident. Dear Mayor Kelly and City Commissioners, I have been asked to attend and speak at tonight's City Council meeting on behalf of several citizens who could not be here this evening, as well as the 4,200 citizens who voted for a new form of city government. Yesterday, Mayor, you added to tonight's agenda the appointment of a mayoral city charter commission. With this action, you are blocking the citizens from moving forward with a petition that would put on the ballot the choice to choose between the current commission form of government and the proposed city mayor-manager council. Instead, with the action you are taking, we will only be presented with one option, and that is to continue with the commission form of government. This current form of government did not get a clear majority of the vote in our last election. Your voters have spoken. The outcome of last November's election remains unsettled. The people want the opportunity to vote, and you are taking this away from them. You are not giving them a choice. Please, we respectfully request you table this appointment of another commission and let the voters decide through the democratic process of voting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Egger-Imany. I am a resident of Saratoga Springs, and I am very much concerned about the Charter Review Commission that you're planning to appoint tonight, because I strongly feel 10 votes one way or the other does not really determine the outcome of our city's interest. And taking that away from the citizens is really, really unethical and wrong. So I would ask you to not bring this to the council tonight and let the citizens have their say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Phil Diamond, Saratoga Springs. I kind of echo what the past two speakers have said. Mayor, you ran on a progressive democratic platform. You were elected by a wide majority. I suggest, in fact, I demand that you let the democratic process play out. Let the majority rule in November. Let us vote, let us petition, get signatures, put it on the ballot, and let the democratic process play out. Please don't succumb to the know-nothings on the council who are against changing the form of government. This form of government isn't working. People don't run. People aren't qualified to hold the offices that they have by and large. And it would be far better to have the democratic process, the democracy rules, play out. I want to say something on another note, on another topic. The Saratoga Springs City Center, which is a public building, city-owned building, should not have a gun show. Let Saratoga Springs be a model for the smallest cities in the state, showing that we don't want a gun show, we don't want assault weapons being sold, we don't cotton to the NRA. I'm a Second Amendment believer, but we don't need a gun show in Saratoga Springs. So I applaud what you're trying to do, Mayor, in changing the lease, but let's have a resolution to show that the council of Saratoga Springs does not want a gun show either. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, if we could take a brief break because our webcast is not up and running at this point in time.
It's up now. You go ahead.
It's up now. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, council members, my name is John Kerwin. I'm a taxpayer and a property owner at 94 Lincoln Avenue, Saratoga Springs, the past 36 years, and who last November proudly voted for you as mayor. And I'm gravely concerned about an item slated for this evening's agenda concerning a charter commission you are planning to appoint. It's my understanding that such a commission would saddle my sister and brothers, citizens of Saratoga Springs, with our currently outdated form of government for many more years to come. As you well know, last fall the voting citizens of our fair city were literally split down the middle when it came to making an enlightened change in the form of government under which we might operate and go forward in this 21st century. And with all due respect to the current council members, for the most part, under our current form of government, we are subjected to a highly unprofessional way of governing. Every 2 years for the past 10 years, since I have been a full-time resident, both major parties have been scrambling to find candidates to run for council positions. This proves to be unfair both to those who are elected and those who must contend with their lack of experience and expertise in their given areas. As a result, our citizenry is regularly subjected to a hit-or-miss type of existence under petty fiefdoms contending for the same resources. And we are left lacking in both long-term planning and professionalism, which could lead us into a brighter future of responsible growth and development. Please, I urge you as a reasonable person not to lead us in such a fashion. In probably the last decade of my life in this fair city. So I therefore respectfully request that the Charter Commission item be dropped from tonight's agenda and any subsequent agendas until the more than 4,000 citizens who
That's
voted for
time.
a change of government last November have an opportunity to present a viable alternative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council, I would like to come up and actually do the opposite. I would like to commend you for putting this on the agenda this evening. It was a very close vote, but it was a vote that lost. However, I agree that our council needs to look at alternatives to the way that this council operates, the way our city operates, and having a fresh look at it, to me, seems like a very good idea. Thank you very much for putting it on tonight's agenda.
Thank you.
Yes, good evening, Bonnie Sellers. I'm Vice Chair of Success Organization who supports the Commission Form of Government. You know, I've lived all over the United States, all over. I have a slew of addresses. We've lived in all kinds of forms of government, old-fashioned town hall meetings, city manager, and a whole lot of variations of strong mayor, weak mayor, and such. We've also lived in another country, and I've always respected what the communities have to offer. My parents raised us kids to appreciate the varieties of life and diversity, and a lot of me is pretty conservative, but I consider myself quite tolerant and receptive to other communities and what they have to offer. This is a historic form of government for our city. It's the only one we've had. We don't criticize the House of Representatives on a 2-year vote. We don't criticize the Constitution. It's far much older than this. We don't criticize the state Constitution, which is older. They have split forms of government. They have a 2-year vote. I don't understand why it's so difficult for the Saratogians to just not come in here and respect what they have to offer and what they have to give, and just leave the government alone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Tripolek, and I live at 211 Circular Street. I'm calling on you, the mayor, newly elected Mayor Kelly,
Can you please address the council?
and respected members of the commission, but I'm mainly here to speak to you because you were the person who ran on your support of charter reform. You even said that because 80% of the city employees were in favor of a change in government because they could see that this was not a workable form of government, that you would support them in your capacity as mayor if you were elected. And I'm calling on you to stand by your principles and support that view that got you elected. I wouldn't have voted for you otherwise. I think that you and other members of the council, maybe the other members more so, are trying to thwart the democratic process in this city. We had a very suspicious election result, and it still is being questioned. We still did not get a recount. We can't even get our hands on the file that would have been a record, that would have been proof of what the ballots really were. You know, what were they cast for, a yes or a no? In that atmosphere, to form a commission that's just going to keep this form of government is a slap in the voters' faces. And I would like you to keep that in mind as you go forward. You have 2 years. How can you accomplish anything honest or with integrity if you're going to try and thwart this democratic process and set up your own charter commission? It's time, Saratoga.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, fellow commissioners of the City of Saratoga Springs. Earl Reed, 125 West Avenue, Saratoga Springs, New York. Well, I've been a resident of Saratoga since 1946 and a taxpayer also of the City of Saratoga. And concerning the controversy concerning the proposed votes we've had for the change of the form of government in the City of Saratoga, I believe we've had 3 elections. And to coin a baseball phrase, 3 strikes and you're out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara Thomas, excuse me, Phila Street, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Saratoga County. We support a government for the cities in Saratoga County that separates the administrative functions from the legislative functions. So I actually think you're probably going to go ahead and form a commission. So what I am saying and what the League is saying is please appoint open-minded people who will look at all of the pros and cons of the existing government and the other options that we have. We certainly hope that you will include in that group of people that you appoint people who are concerned about the effective functioning of government and about that principle of separating the administrative and executive from the legislative branches of government. And maybe tonight isn't going to be all the people you appoint, and so maybe you have an opportunity to really have a group that can build on the work of the previous Charter Commission and come up with something possibly even better.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.